Solar Tax Pros is a tax consulting firm specializing in solar incentives for the solar industry. While many of you know a little bit about the 30% tax credit, most of you are unaware of the additional solar incentives that are available in the tax code, which can produce up to 70% in federal income tax incentives. We have done this for thousands of homeowners over the last 4 years and on average collect up to $7,500 per homeowner. Additionally, we help solar professionals maximize the solar incentives for homeowners by showing them how to take these extra solar incentives and put it in their proposal, lowering the cost of solar for the homeowner and increasing their closing ratios. We also help large solar installation companies develop compliance procedures so that their sales reps explain the solar incentive solutions properly to their homeowners, especially no-income homeowners who feel deceived when they don't receive their income tax incentives as promised in the solar proposal. Hi, my name's Anthony Matthew, and I'm the founder of Solar Tax Pros. Early on in my career, I began on Wall Street learning from some of the top financial firms in the world how the ultra-wealthy make their money and pay no income taxes by incorporating highly sought-after tax attorneys and CPAs. When I worked on Wall Street, there was a fund that had a solar field for sale to investors, and it sold out very quickly. It was an unbelievable investment. Investors gravitated towards it because of the massive income tax incentives that were available from the government. I absolutely fell in love with solar as an investment. Fast forward 20 years later, and I'm working back in sunny South Florida, offering solar to residential homeowners. I'm working for a large national installation company, and on my second day of training, I was with the top sales producer who became the sales manager and the trainer of the company. And she was announcing to the entire trainee class how the solar incentives were going to be a 30% tax credit and everybody gets it, even if they're not paying income taxes. And I challenged this statement. I said, wait a second, you're telling me that somebody with no income is going to be able to get the 30% tax credit? And she said yes. And I had a big problem with that. And she said, do you want to make a bet? And I said, yeah, I'll make a $100 bet. And so she called the executive vice president on speakerphone in front of the entire class to try to embarrass me. And she explained how a new trainee was in the class and how he was challenging her statement. And she lost the bet. She was quite embarrassed, and I literally thought I was going to get fired. But I felt like I had to speak up and do the right thing for everyone in the class and for the homeowners that were going to be presented incorrectly. When a homeowner doesn't pay any income taxes, they're not going to receive the benefit of going solar back in the form of a refund check because they're not paying taxes, so they can't get the money back. They'll get a tax credit at the IRS, but they won't be able to actually get that money back. And that's a big problem for the industry because people are explaining to homeowners that they're going to get this check back when they're not. And that's a big issue for us that we need to clean up as an industry. Later on that year, our group sold a lot of solar and we were really doing well. During tax time, the homeowners were calling all the solar reps frantically, asking how to apply their solar incentives because their tax professionals didn't know how to do it because it was new to them. They didn't do it on a daily basis, and tax preparers are typically generalists and not specialists in solar incentives. So this is when I knew I needed to learn more about solar incentives and dive a little deeper into learning how we could help homeowners maximize these solar incentives. So during my research to help the homeowners, I realized that there are two sets of tax rules in the tax code. They're the basic rules and they're the advanced rules. And the advanced rules not only offered the same 30% tax credit, but also offered additional income tax incentives. And I wondered if I could incorporate what I learned on Wall Street with the ultra-wealthy using those tax attorneys to help homeowners utilize those advanced solar incentives in their plans to make solar a much better investment for everyone. So I reached out to my dear friend Michael Daskell, who was a CPA that owned a large CPA firm in South Florida with over 200 employees. So when I spoke to Michael, he said, look, this is gonna require a team of tax attorneys and CPAs to research. It's gonna be really expensive. It's gonna take countless hours, but I can sort of lead you in the right direction and guide you, but good luck to you. And I was committed. I knew that there was a way to get this done. As a matter of fact, when I was on Wall Street, I remember one of our investors saying, all the attorneys need to leave the room. Let's create some strategies here, and then let's get the lawyers back in the room to figure out how to make it legal, right? And so I remembered that, and I was able to strategize and figure out what I wanted to make legal, and then get the tax attorneys and figure out how to make it legal. And that's just what they did. As a matter of fact, I can proudly say that we are more compliant than everyone in the solar industry, and most people in the solar industry are doing things incorrectly, and they don't even know it because they're not experts at the solar tax incentive rules. Through countless hours of painstaking research and expense, we were able to develop the Solar Tax Max plan. And that will allow homeowners to collect up to 70% in solar incentives. So my passion is to help homeowners utilize solar to actually take that solar savings and save it so that they can create a retirement nest egg for their family that's sorely needed, right? Because a lot of people aren't saving enough for retirement income. And my other passion is to help misguided solar professionals learn how to maximize the solar incentives so that they can increase their closing ratios, help more homeowners, and help themselves be as successful as they can be. So if you're a homeowner or a solar sales professional, you can click on the link below and learn more about how we can maximize your situation. I'm Anthony Matthew at Solar Tax Pros, and I personally look forward to helping you win big with solar. And remember, it's not if you go solar, it's when.